Emily couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. As she drove away from the mansion, the shadowy figures haunted her thoughts. Despite her best efforts to focus on the road, the image of those glowing eyes kept appearing before her. She knew she had to get help, but her usual contacts seemed too far away. At dawn, Emily arrived at the nearest town, a small, desolate place with only a handful of residents. Desperate for assistance, she sought out the local librarian, Mr. Carter, a man rumored to know everything about the town's history. Mr. Carter listened intently as Emily recounted her experiences. His face grew pale as she described the mirror and the shadowy figures. "You've encountered something very old," he said, his voice trembling. "That mansion was once owned by a man named Jonathan Crane. He was a known occultist who dabbled in forbidden rites." Emily's eyes widened. "And the figures in the forest?" Mr. Carter nodded solemnly. "Crane's followers, or so it's believed. They were said to guard the mansion and its secrets, ensuring that no one ever escapes with the knowledge of what lies within." Determined to uncover the truth, Emily asked Mr. Carter for more information. He led her to a dusty, old book filled with arcane symbols and historical accounts. Flipping through it, Emily found a section dedicated to Crane's experiments, which spoke of a ritual involving a mirror, a gateway to another realm. The book revealed that the mirror was a portal to a dimension where souls were trapped, and those who looked into it became part of the darkness. It also mentioned a single way to break the curse: the mirror had to be destroyed in the exact location where it was originally crafted, deep within the forest behind the mansion. Emily knew what she had to do. She gathered her things and set off toward the forest, guided by the book's instructions. As she ventured deeper into the woods, the trees seemed to close in around her, the air growing colder with each step. Eventually, she found the clearing described in the book, where she was confronted with the remnants of an old, crumbling altar. It matched the description of where the mirror was first forged. Emily began setting up the ritual, as detailed in the book, determined to end the nightmare. Just as she was about to complete the final incantation, she heard a rustling in the trees. She turned to see the shadowy figures emerging from the forest, their eyes glowing ominously. They moved with a predatory grace, encircling her. Emily's heart pounded as she tried to finish the ritual. The figures grew closer, their whispers growing louder. She chanted the final words, the air crackling with energy. As she completed the incantation, the mirror's shards, which she had brought with her, began to glow with a brilliant, blinding light. Suddenly, the figures lunged toward her, but the light from the shards intensified, pushing them back. Emily felt a surge of power and realized that the ritual was working. The figures writhed and screamed, their forms distorting and vanishing into the darkness. The light from the shards grew so intense that Emily had to shield her eyes. When she finally looked up, the forest was silent. The figures were gone, and the clearing was empty, save for the shattered mirror pieces, now glowing faintly and then fading to darkness. Emily, exhausted but relieved, made her way back to the town, carrying with her the remnants of the mirror. She was determined to uncover more about Crane and his rituals, hoping that with the mirror destroyed, the curse would be lifted. As she returned to town, she noticed a new message on her phone, a notification from an unknown number. The message was simply a picture of the mirror shards with a new reflection, her own face, now trapped in the void.